Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be showing you how to do the Tunisian seed stitch. Now you can start with your preferred yarn, and I'll also be using a 4mm crochet hook. Now for the Tunisian seed stitch, you can start with a foundation chain that has a multiple of 2. In this case, I'll be starting with 14 chains. So insert your hook in the second chain from the hook. And we're just going to go ahead and pull up loops going all across the row. Now at the end of the row, I should have 14 loops on my hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So you should have the same number of loops on your hook as you would have the chains that you started with. Now we're going to start our return pass by chaining 1. And then we're going to yarn over and pull through 2. Yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, and we're going to do that until we're all the way at the end. Now the seed stitch uses both the Tunisian knit and purl stitch, and we'll be working that in each of the vertical bars you see going across the row. Now I've done tutorials on both the knit and purl stitches before. I'll leave those in the cards above as well as in the description below, so that if you're new to Tunisian crochet, you can go ahead and learn how to do those. Now we're going to start by doing a knit stitch. To do that, identify the top vertical bar, which is here, but there's also a bar that falls right behind it. So we can see that bar right here. We're going to insert our hook in between both the bars, so right in the middle. And then we're going to pull up a loop. That's a knit stitch. And next, we're going to do a purl stitch. To do a purl stitch, take your yarn and place it downwards. You can hold it in place with your thumb. Insert your hook behind the vertical bar. Pull the yarn under the hook. Hold it in place with your thumb. And then we're going to pull up a loop. That's a purl stitch. So we're going to keep alternating between the knit and purl stitch going across the row. So in the next stitch, we're going to do a knit stitch, and beside that, a purl. So downwards. And again, we're going to do a knit stitch. Sometimes you have to pull it apart to find the center there to put your crochet hook through. Then pull up a loop. And for the purl stitch, we're going to place our yarn downwards, hold it in place with our thumb, insert our hook behind that vertical bar that's there, pull our yarn under our hook, hold it in place with our thumb, and then we're just going to pull up a loop. That's the purl stitch. So they're both pretty easy stitches, and we're just going to complete that going across the row. knit stitch, and then we're going to do a purl stitch, now in the last vertical bar we're going to work our crochet hook to the top as well as the back of the stitch. So if you turn it to the side, you'll see the top and back of the stitch here. We're going to work the hook through both and pull up a loop. And that's going to keep the left side of our pattern straight. If you count the number of loops on our hook, it should be that same 14 or the number of foundation chains you would have started with. And once you have your count good to go, go ahead and chain one to start the return pass. And we're going to close out the round in the same way we did before. So completing the return pass here, we're going to yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, all the way until we're at the end. Now in the next row, we're going to alternate stitches. So where we had a knit stitch before, we're going to do a purl stitch, and wherever we had a purl stitch, we're going to do a knit stitch. And you can see with the knit stitch that the vertical bar runs into the next, whereas with the purl stitch, there's a little bump in the middle there. So our knit stitches are naturally longer than the purl stitches, and you can just use those things to identify the stitches going across so you don't get confused. So in the first knit stitch, we're going to work a purl stitch. So go ahead and place your yarn downwards. I'm going to hold it in place with my thumb and insert my hook behind the vertical bar, raise the yarn, under my hook, hold it in place and pull it through the vertical bar. So I'm going to do a purl stitch, and then in the next stitch, of course, we're going to do a knit stitch. So pull that purl stitch from the previous row, apart so that we can identify the top and back vertical bar, and we're going to insert or hook through that and pull up a loop, and that's a knit stitch. So we're going to work or purl stitches where there was a knit stitch and a knit stitch where there was a purl stitch going across the row. So in the next one, we'll do a purl, and then a knit, a purl, and then a knit stitch, purl stitch, and then a knit stitch, and so on. And in the last vertical bar, we're going to work the hook through the front as well as the back bar there and pull up a loop. And we're going to chain one to start our return pass, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, And we're going to do that until we're all the way at the end. Now the seed stitch is a 2-row repeat, so in the next row we're going to start with a knit stitch as we had a purl stitch in the previous row, and then a purl stitch, knit and purl, and so on. So you can continue doing this until you're at your desired length. Now this is how this pattern looks on a larger sample. Now, if you liked this tutorial, please go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so as yet. Thanks again for watching. Bye!